Good evening. I am Tracy Camerano, the Parks and Rec Commissioner. This is an open meeting of Northborough Parks and Recreation Committee, and it's being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, the town of Northborough has been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. All members of the Northborough Parks and Recreation Committee are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows Northborough Parks and Recreation Committee to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. And members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to the Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. Those who wish to speak under the public comment will be admitted to the meeting as an attendee and will be asked to provide their full name and address for the record. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per person. We're going to first confirm the member access for the board members that are present. So as I call your name, if you could please respond verbally that you are here. Mark Audicki.
Present.
Sean Durkin. Not here. Gary Maggiolino.
Present.
And Tracy Camerano, myself, I'm also here. And staff, when I call your name, would you please respond to the affirmative. Allie Lane.
Here.
And Scott Charpentier.
I'm present.
Great. So we will call this meeting to order, and we will start with just a reminder that if anyone who is here would like to make a public comment, that when they do so, I will call upon them and they will need to note their name and address, and that you will have 3 minutes to speak. So now I'm going to hand the meeting over to Scott, and he will introduce the landscape architects who will give us a presentation of the Assabet Playground construction project.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'm Scott Charpentier, DPW Director. The Assabet Playground was approved for funding to make accessibility improvements at last year's annual town meeting. That was the 2020 FY21 annual town meeting. It's partially funded by free cash and also partially funded by CPC. So there was a report of accessibility issues at the playground relevant to the equipment and the play surface. We went to the annual town meeting last year, secured funding to replace the play surface and the play equipment. We've hired Weston and Sampson as landscape architects and design engineers on the project. The project scope through the design development process has expanded the footprint of the playground, which we believe, Allie and I as a rec director, is critical and important to meeting the needs of the target age group. Allie will get a little more into what age group this is targeted for, but the goal and objective was to have a fully accessible playground area and have new equipment replacement, new surfaces, and the goal and objective is to get through the design process this year, initiate construction, in hopes, weather permitting, that we can get things opened up to the public as soon as possible. The expectation is next spring, but we're hoping that it may occur sooner. Allie, if you want to talk a little bit about the target group and how we got here, and then we'll introduce the architects to be brought on as panelists to do their presentation.
Excellent. Thanks, Scott. Basically, the Assabet Park, I've been here 19 years. It has always been for the ages of 7 and under. I know it has been that way a lot longer before I started as well. And many, many people in the community like the fact that it's 7 and under. It's a safe environment for their young kids, 2 to 4, 4 to 7. We've always had different types of equipment in there for certain ages, but it's always been 7 and under. It's also adjacent to the splash pad, which has generally, I mean, there's no age limit on the splash pad, but basically it's been about 7 and under as well. You know, of course you'll have older siblings there, but the whole area has really been focused for the 7 and under. With this new project, one of the main things that we decided as a board, as a community, was that we were going to take out the basketball court because it didn't really fall in line with the age group that we were looking for. So we were sort of getting some mixed signals as far as teens and older groups coming to play basketball at the same time that they had the younger kids trying to ride their little bikes around, and it just wasn't meshing. It wasn't going very well together. So we decided that with this new project, the new construction, we were going to take the basketball court out and actually enlarge the playground area. And we're going to have a little bike trail that goes around so that the kids can still have access to doing that. And the landscape architects are going to go through basically and show you the design, what we came up with. Through this process, we actually reached out to several families in town that have sometimes 2 or 3 children in the 7 and under age group, so that they could help us sort of guide what type of equipment, colors, all sorts of different things. We kind of been working with them as far as trying to get ideas from parents that are currently using that Assabet Park. So it was really, really helpful. I want to thank all the families that participated in that to help us get through this process. So hopefully, once we get started on this, if you guys have any questions for Scott, myself, or the board or the landscape architects, please feel free to ask.
Madam Chair and our host, Becca, if you can promote our landscape architects, that would be wonderful, and they can go through the presentation.
Coming
We
on
have
now.
Mike Giesler as the project manager and 2 of his key staff members, Jeanette and Amanda, with us to go through where we are and how we got here.
Oh, hello, everybody. Can you hear me all right?
Yes. Hi, Mike.
All right. Thank you. I believe Jeanette is going to be sharing our presentation. So while she's getting that pulled up, my name is Michael Easler. I'm a senior project landscape architect with Weston and Sampson. And we've been working with Scott and Allie on developing this, the design we're going to present to you here. Amanda Gall and Jeanette Cantu are both landscape architects with Weston and Sampson as well. And so they're going to take you through some of those or some of the details, but I'll do a quick intro here.
I just need permission to share my screen. I got it there. Thanks.
Great. So yeah, so as has been introduced already, we're really looking to revamp and develop a really unique and exciting play area at the playground, while providing some of the benefits of the flat surface of the basketball courts without the age conflict that has occurred in the past. Jeanette, can you go to the next slide, please? I've introduced the project team and I'll introduce the project schedule in a moment. Amanda is going to go through a project overview, and that will be really a development of the overall plan that we'll be presenting and the concept. And then we'll be going into some of the details of the play, and Jeanette will take you through some of the detailed play components and options that we've selected through this public process of discussion with certain families and members of the community to date. Next slide, please. I think we can skip this one. We've already discussed. We know Scott, we know Allie. We've had these focus group meetings in the last 2 months, and here we are at virtual community meeting number 1. Our next steps are to present a 75% construction development to the town for review, and we're looking to have CDs ready for bids in early summer of 2021. And as Scott mentioned, construction will begin in the summer or the fall. If everything goes well, it could be open in the fall. If we run into any snags with materials because of extended shipping times because of COVID, which has become a new reality for all of us to learn how to work with, it may be the winter, spring 2022, as Scott mentioned. So with that, I'm going to turn it over the details to Amanda, and she'll kind of take you through the project thinking and the layout.
Hi, everyone. So here we have the existing site, which includes a basketball court and the playground. The playground currently sits adjacent to South Street, which is with an existing historic wall and fence that runs along the entire edge. Gale Street runs along the northern edge of the park with an existing parking lot to the northwest and a newly added accessible parking space in the corner. The entire southern or southeastern corner of the park is basically a steep vegetated slope with a few larger trees incorporated on it. And so there are a few concerns and constraints related to the existing playground. A main constraint is the accessibility within the play area and between the play area and the splash pad. Both of these amenities sit at different elevations, and the splash pad is slightly more elevated than the playground. And to accommodate this, there's a series of retaining walls holding the grade. Improved ADA access between these two sites has been looked at and incorporated into the design for more cohesive transition between them. And as Ali mentioned earlier, the town also had some concerns over the age range this park is accommodating. The playground is meant to serve kids under 7, where the basketball court generally attracts more of the teenage and older crowds. By designing this playground closer to the 2 to 5/7 range, and removing the basketball court, we're likely to see a more focused user group. Next slide, please. And so now I'll go into the preferred concept. So once again, by removing the basketball court, we were able to propose the playground a bit further away from South Street, providing an extra buffer between the kiddos and the vehicular traffic. And so starting at the perimeter, we have an access point at the splash area and then 2 street entrances. One is the existing entrance from South Street and the other connects to the accessible parking space that leads to Gale Street. At this access point, you'll also see a concrete pad provided for a porta potty facility to be added later by the town. And then making our way into the park, we have the main play area, which will have mainly 2 to 5, but also there is one 2 to 12 structure. And it is surrounded by the trike track. The trike track will be approximately 8 feet wide, which should be ample room for racing and fun and games. Also just for walking loops for the parents if they want. And then to the left of that, we have a sloped play area with boulder climbing and 2 embankment slides that are accessed by an accessible pathway leading to the top. To the right of the play area, the main play area, there will be a small blacktop zone with some color seal coats and painted games like hopscotch and Foursquare. And finally, we have the connection plaza to the splash area that will house a shade shelter positioned to oversee both properties, the splash and the playground. And also, depending on the bids that come in, the existing fence along South Street will be replaced with an ornamental fencing that will sit on the existing historic wall that's going to remain. There's also ample room around the perimeter of the play area for additional amenities like a sandbox or seating that could be installed later by the town. They were not included in this project strictly because of budget constraints. And then the next slide, please. So now we're going to take you through a few of the selected play elements. We wanted to make sure that this design was accessible with pieces that accommodate a range of play types. To do this, we had to make sure we were meeting the ADA accessibility requirements, as well as including 5 types of play that make designs more inclusive, which are social emotional play, physical play, sensory play, cognitive play, and communications. Number 1 on this inset plan is the 2 to 5 play sense structure. This structure includes a roller slide, a curb slide, bridges, a block climber, and numerous other small elements. This piece also includes the igloo dome, which can be great for kids to climb and also can provide like a quieter place for those who feel a bit overwhelmed. And item number 2 is the 2 to 5 smart play structure. You'll notice this one's a bit smaller than the other. This one is specifically for the 2 to 5 age range, which generally requires lower decks and less challenging play than the 2 to 12. But it does include a slide and a tunnel entrance and smaller play elements and an overhead deck for shade. And then other elements incorporated into the playground include the Wee-Saw, which is a spring-loaded seesaw, and it does not require all seats to be filled to be used. We also have a saddle spinner, which is an individual use piece of equipment, but kids love it. We have the 2 hill slope slides I mentioned earlier, and a set of swings that includes 2 bucket seats, a belt seat, and an inclusive swing seat. We've also included the We-Go-Round, which is an accessible merry-go-round, and a custom trike track elements that will be along the perimeter track, which include a rest stop, trike truck panels, signage, and a trike tunnel. And then we've also shown just a few, one example of just different like little play elements that could be painted on the blacktop area under item number 9. But this could really be a range of whatever fun and exciting. So now I guess I'll hand it over to Jeanette, who will go through some of the add-on items that we discussed with the focus group earlier.
Hello, guys. So meeting with the town and the public, these are some alternates that were a response of the community preferences in the play equipment that we are offering. And so from number A, this was the chosen alternative that speaks more to the community and to the needs for the kids. For number B, it's in the platform. It's more like a musical element. And C, it's just more interactive. It's beneath in the ground level. And we're also adding a second panel that has a little tunnel in it. So it will be more interactive in all floors, all layers, and even beneath the structure. For the slides, there's a whole panel as well. We have a space in between the slides, so that will make it more interactive for the passive space in between. And for the color, the preference was adding a mix of colorful and happy colors that speaks more to the uniqueness of the project. And these was a combinations of colors that were chosen.
Thanks, Jeanette. And I just want to note that, Jeanette, if you go back one slide, the panel C by the hill slope slides looks like it's out of place, and that's just an artifact of the renderings that the manufacturer gave us. That will be up between the 2 slides, and they will be on a hill, so there won't be so much space underneath them. So, you know, this is basically the overall plan that we've really focused on, and as they've mentioned before, you know, the large play structure is technically a 2 to 12 play structure, but very much focused on the kind of 4 to 6, 7 age range, and then the smaller play structure is really focused on toddlers 2 to 5. And I think in combination with the accessible surfacing throughout, so we're using a unitary play surface, as well as the cyclical trike track, it's really going to be a great space for children of you know the 2 to 7 age range to really have a fun time. With that, Scott, I wanted to turn it back to you. Maybe we're ready to open up for questions.
Thank you, Mike. A couple quick points. If you want to go back to the overall site materials, there you go. A couple quick points to make is when we implement accessible equipment, it takes up a larger footprint. You know, utilizing the basketball court as part of this does a lot. You know, as Amanda indicated, it pulls the children's play space away from the street, which is desirable for everybody, including parents. It also allows wider, safe fall zones around the play equipment, more future expansion, and a focused group of adolescents and children for the play area. We have budget constraints, as every project does. You know, the town meeting approved $550,000 last year for the project. The landscape architect Weston and Sampson has done a fantastic job in pulling a lot of elements in there and saving costs with incorporating slopes into the design, like the slope slides, allowing wheelchair accessibility to the top of a slide. That's a unique feature that we have and we can accommodate, and it actually saves costs. So it was a long process getting here, and Ally indicated we had a wonderful working group to go through the design concepts earlier, and the result is a lot of hard work over many months, and it looks fantastic. Mike, thank you, and Ally.
No, I appreciate all the work that you guys put into this, because I think that the overall result is pretty much exactly what we're looking for. And the few things that I think we want to add on in the future are going to be, we already have space available and we'll be able to do that. So I'm really happy with the end results. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
I wondered, Michael, if you could elaborate a little bit on that. Ally, and I did attend the other meeting, but where, just for the other commission members to know, where are the other spaces in this plan that could be added to? And what types of things could be added? You mentioned the sandbox as one spot, but where maybe you could point out where the benches could be added and some of those other things that we discussed in the other meeting.
Absolutely. And again, it's something where we've had this larger plan in mind from the start, and really just trying to find how much can we get for the budget and what else can we add. So, there's two locations for the sandbox potentially. One would be close to the accessible parking space by number 1, but it would be kind of at that intersection between the track loop and the access point in that bay there, correct? The other option would be off of the edge of the number 6. We're currently showing, basically a tree for shade there, but we could relocate that slightly and add in more play in that area. Benches as another element, it's one of those things where we want to make sure we provide some seating throughout the site as possible. But with the constraints, this is something where there was discussion about donations and future improvements. Beyond the expected and planned seating at number 7 between the splash pad and the playground, which will allow parents to look both directions. Seats along the pathway exterior are very easily added. Typically, it would just be a small concrete pad and then the bench itself. That entire space is pretty flat, so there'd be no concerns with ADA access to any of those seats. And then seats could be added along the entry paths as well, especially the entry from South Street into the play area.
Okay. Does anyone else have questions from the commission? Mark, Gary, okay. All right, yeah, I'd like to echo, thank you for your hard work. It looks excellent. So I very much enjoyed the other meeting too, hearing about more of the details. So thank you.
We appreciate it. This has been a fun project for us.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I don't see, I guess let the record note that there is no public comment. There's no one that has attended from the public or tuned in. So we don't have any further questions, I don't believe at this point. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
All right. And after they drop off, we'll continue on with the rest of our meeting, correct? Yeah, all right. Excellent. Okay. The next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from February 2021 meeting. So I need a motion to approve those.
I make a motion to approve.
Excellent. And a second?
I'll second that.
And all in favor? Yes.
Yes. Aye.
Yes.
Aye. All right.
Aye.
February meeting minutes have been approved. All right, Ally, you're up next with the recreation report.
Okay, I'll be brief, even though we're very busy. The first good news is that we put in an offer for me to have a administrative assistant, and she has accepted. So I'm very excited. Hopefully at the next meeting, we'll be able to welcome Heidi Stapleton, and she has been a rec supervisor over at Foxborough for many years, and we're very excited to have her come here. Personally, I'm excited because she's been using our web system over there. It's the same one, so it should be very fluid having her come over here. She's going to be starting the Monday after April vacation, which is April 26th. So I will hopefully be able to take a deep breath and have some help down here in the office. It's been very busy in here. Excuse me. I don't know if anybody's taken a look at our website, but for some reason my brain exploded and I just kept adding and adding and adding. And we have a lot of programs. We have over 60 programs for spring and summer, and more than 3/4 of them are full. So the public is excited that we're doing this. I'm excited that we're doing this. Everybody, it's just such a positive thing to be back. Everybody's just looking forward to getting the programs going. Almost all of our programming for spring is outdoors. So that, you know, again, I'm going to be crossing my fingers for no rain this spring. Although I want the grass to be green, so it can only rain on days I'm not running programs.
Right.
The summer programs are pretty much full. We don't have a lot open. I am running a full day summer program over at the Melican Middle School and Lincoln Street School for 8 weeks. That program filled in 6 minutes, so I was very excited about that. And every week we're running at least 2 or 3 other programs, same as we do in the summer. Almost every year we'll be running sort of what I call side programs, clinics, basketball, baseball, lacrosse. We're also doing, you know, vet schools, rocket science, Lego, Minecraft, all sorts of different programs that we do every year. So most of those will be held either here in the rec center or at one of the schools. We've also implemented a lot of outdoor programming as well. We are currently working with the Board of Health on making sure that all of our COVID policies and the COVID guidelines are updated, and we will be following all of those to a T for every summer program. But as of right now, all the spring and summer stuff is doing wonderful. I have no complaints whatsoever, and the public seems to be very receptive.
Have you had to reduce class size because of COVID?
Yes.
Like, is that another adjustment besides just being outside? Okay.
Absolutely. Everybody has to be 6 feet apart. So I was looking forward to it shrinking to 3 feet because it did in the schools. But as of right now, the Massachusetts COVID guidelines still say that the rec programs need to be 6 feet apart. So we will be following that unless it changes. That's one of the difficult factors of what we're doing is we're planning everything right now. But by the time things start on June 28th, I can guarantee that the guidelines are going to be different than they are right now. So we're sort of just kind of swinging and doing what we have to do where things are currently.
If Ally, if guidelines change, like, you know, and you do move down to 3 feet for things like camp or some of the other things they have going on, would you be able to go to wait lists or bring more kids in, do you think?
We might be able to, yes, because as of right now we're limited with the space. So for we're actually meeting with the principals over at the middle school, the Board of Health, and my camp directors on April 15th to go over space. We have to figure out, you know, the schools have a really good handle on how many kids you can fit in a room with 6 feet apart. So we're going to be meeting with them and figuring out how many rooms we're going to need, because currently we have 90 children signed up for the program. Normally we take 140. So we really backed off. I'm not sure if it does go down, I'm not sure that we would change it just because everything is so different this year. We might just stick with what we have because everything's going to be planned and ready to go. So we might just stick with what we have. But surprisingly, our wait lists are not that long. So, you know, some of the weeks are 10 kids. We have a couple weeks where there's 29 kids. But we've already gone through a bunch of the wait list, because when people initially registered in February, they're now figuring out their summer vacations. Now that people are getting vaccinated and people are actually planning vacations, we're getting a bunch of turnover where people are calling and trading in weeks, and then the people on the wait list. So we've already gone through the wait list about 10 people deep. So it's been good. People seem pretty happy with it. As far as the spring field rentals, we're going to be opening up the fields. So that's a whole added part to the rec world down here. Pretty much this weekend, we're going to be doing an opening. We have not had a lot of rain. The ground is excellent. It's ready to go. We've had people walk Ellsworth McAfee, Memorial, Casey. I'm actually going to the middle school tomorrow to take a look at that. We're going to be prepping the infields at the middle school as well. So everything right now looks to be good to open this weekend. And we have all the spaces is ready to go. We have no openings right now. So that's
the
good. I
rentals
want to
are
see the
full.
kids go outside, and I want to congratulate Northborough Youth Softball, because their numbers have gone way up. So it's very exciting to see. So we got to give them more space over at the middle school as well. It's good. People are ready to get outside.
Yeah, good news.
And that's all I have right now for the recreation report. Scott, I'll hand it over to you.
You're up.
Oh, thank you.
Al-
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question?
Just one question, Ali. I was just wondering when, if there was a plan or any type of timetable for opening the rec center itself again.
That
The
is an
town hall
excellent
building?
question. Actually, Scott, can I let you answer that one, since you're
Yeah.
on the opening committee for the public buildings?
Yeah, no problem. Through the chair, Gary, we have a plan going forward for physical changes to town hall. Physical change is going to require a contractor to come in to adjust some of the space, adjust the way our offices interact with the public, so it's done in a safe fashion. We cannot open generally to the public until that has been implemented. We're planning on getting that done in April, late April, early May. In the meantime, our gym space is our meeting space. So until we have a safe interaction with the general public, and it can range from things like a public bid opening to somebody coming into the town clerk's office to get a death certificate. Currently, they don't have a safe means to come into the town clerk's office to put on a nice note to get a birth certificate or a marriage certificate. Until we have that physical change to be compliant with the state regulations, we can't open the gym, because that is the space currently where, for example, the town clerk will serve the needs of the community with those types of requests. Our goal and objective is somewhere in the late May, early June window, but we have to source Lexan windows, and those things have long lead times. So we want to open it as quick as possible, because we want to get the pickleball community active and swinging, so that when it's built, they're looking for playoff space.
Excellent, thank you.
That's one of my most repetitive calls is pickleball in the town hall. They're all vaccinated, so they're ready to go. And I had to explain to them that we're not all vaccinated, so we can't let anybody in the building. But they're just dying. And I don't know if you guys drive by the Westboro courts, but they're so busy that people can't even get time over there anymore. So they're chomping at the bit. But we're working with them, and we're letting them know. We're keeping them updated on the timeline and everything.
All right, Scott, you're up. DPW report.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be a little more brief than Ally's brief description. We're geared up and ready to go. There's a couple changes that are being implemented and improvements that are being done related to COVID. We've secured and procured message boards for Ellsworth and Assabet and the ball fields, Memorial and Casey. Those are the message boards you would normally see at like a trailhead or a DCR property where there's like a plexiglass enclosure with a cork board on the inside. We found it very problematic to post the COVID regulations and guidelines because as Ali indicated, as soon as we print out signs and put them up, they change. And they're expensive. So we finally just bit the bullet, said, let's put these up. It's an easy way to update the regulations. You know, soccer can post their regulations, baseball can do theirs. It's a much more convenient way to communicate with the users and the residents. So you'll be seeing those installed in
How big are they?
they're pretty large. They're like 4 feet by 3.5 feet.
wow.
So they'll
Yeah.
fit
Okay.
a full-size sheet of like, plan paper, engineering paper.
Yep,
And
okay.
they're two-sided, so that we can put a lot of information in there. And in the long run, they're not going anywhere. When COVID's gone, I'm knocking on wood, soon, then we can continue to post information up there. And I think it's gonna be a nice asset for the recreation department as well as the community.
Okay.
So I expect those to be installed in the coming month or two. We are also doing some improvements around the crosswalks that access our fields at Ellsworth, the park at Assabet, and between the fields at Memorial and Casey to improve some pedestrian safety. There'll be more of that information available soon, but just so you're aware that is moving forward. Other than that, it's get them dressed up and ready to go. That's what we're doing. We were able to replace some of the light bulbs over at Casey. There was some concerns about the field lighting there. The field lighting in Melican is up and running and successful. We still have another overseed down there under contract to make sure that grass germinates properly. Other than that, it's clean it up and get ready for Ali to take it all over.
Good.
Scott, do you want to let them know that you're hiring for summer help?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yes.
Oh,
We need summer help. If
Yes.
anybody out there in the public has an 18-year-old son or daughter who wants to have a full-time job at the Department of Public Works in the town of Northborough, please reach out to the DPW on our homepage, dpw@town.northborough.ma.us. There's a link right on our homepage. It's a great job, nice trucks, municipal
Any-
employment.
Weed whackers.
hire, how many people are you looking to hire?
We're looking to hire 6 people.
Okay.
It's good work. It's landscape, groundskeeping. It's consistent. It's a great thing to have on your resume if you're looking to move forward. In your employment. And it's continuous. So if you're a good employee every year when you come home from college you have time, you're in. I mean, we have kids who have worked for us on spring break, on Christmas break. It's a great opportunity. So please, and I'm looking at the 3 commission members now, please.
I think Mark's kids are a little young, but give them a couple more years.
Yeah,
They'll be
not
tall,
quite.
so they can fit in.
And the
I'd
other
like
the other good thing about this summer job is, when I hire kids, it's for 8 weeks and it doesn't start until June 28th. So kids who come home from college the second week in May are dying for something to do. So Scott will hire you the second week of May. So you can actually get all the
summer.
weeks that you're home, you can be employed. So I think it's a really good opportunity for some, like he said, 18 to 22-year-olds that are looking for something, stay active, be outside. It's a great summer job.
We have
How about-
3 full-time employees who came to us through the summer employment program. And they're
Excellent.
wonderful employees. So it's a great opportunity.
How about a 50-year-old who just wants to be outside more?
Doesn't want to drive to Boston.
Don't
We have
wanna Zoom
accessible
anymore?
parking spaces at every facility.
That's awesome.
Best commute I ever had.
All right, I don't think there's any other new business or old business that anyone needs to bring up.
I don't have anything. Do you, Scott? No? Okay.
Okay.
That's
No,
it.
I think we're good.
All right, a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, and second,
Seconded.
we're in favor of that. Aye, yes, all right, thank you. This
Aye.
concludes our meeting for tonight.